welcome back. Okay, day 18 Hayabusa build, and for today, oil cooler. Now I want to take the factory oil cooler off and replace it if I can, and mainly because although it doesn't leak and it seems to be serviceable, it is in a terrible state like the original radiator was. All the little vanes are all bent over from over-enthusiastic cleaning, probably with a stick or something, and it's all loaded up with mud and salt and crap, and it's probably on its last legs. So I've got an opportunity to replace it because a very kind viewer sent me this. This is a Mocal aluminium aftermarket oil cooler. It's a fantastic item, very high quality piece of kit, and he tells me that it is safe and pressure tested to 100 psi, and I believe that. It's absolutely cool. There's a little tiny repair on the back of it, but it looks in good order and it hasn't had any beating or battering around. All the vanes in the front are absolutely perfect, and this has been seemingly rattle can painted blue at some point, and it is flaking off, but I think that's the only damage to it. Now it's got some mounts on it on the top here. I don't know what they're for, perhaps a Bandit or something, or a GSXR, but they're not going to fit on this bike. They are the brackets which I will use though for the standoff for the radiator on the top. They're at the wrong place, so I need to make some little side standoffs. That'll just be cutting out some sheet metal, ever so easy to do that. I've got some 2mm stuff, nice and thick, make a nice little plate bracket for that. And underneath it's got a mount to this bottom bracket that the current radiator is holding on to, and there's nothing underneath there to do it, so I've got to make a plate that goes on the bottom. There's some little fasteners and bolts here which I can use for that. Put a little plate on the bottom with a tab on it, so weld a little tab on, and I should, hopefully by the end of today, be able to mount that cooler in the same position as the factory one. And then once I know it fits and I can actually mount it to the bike, then I can see if I can get myself an adapter kit to actually plumb it in and make it work. Plumbing it in is obviously quite important. The current hoses won't go anywhere near it, they're completely different, but there are some adapter kits that involve a little back plate behind your oil filter, ever so easy to get, all available online, and they're not cheap. So before I go wasting the money on that, I want to make sure I can actually fit this first. So there we go, today making some brackets to mount an oil cooler. Wish me luck. Right. Nope. There it goes. Oh well. Nope. That's it. 2 out of 4 ain't bad. Right, 2 out of 4 ain't bad. Okay, those little screws, M6, quite easy to snap off, especially when they're absolutely seized. One of them I got about 1/4 of a turn on it in movement. It just sheared off after that. They just go all of a sudden. And it's not about putting too much weight on them, it's just they're so corroded inside that the integrity of that little tiny 6mm piece of steel pin that's been threaded, that's eaten halfway through. There's no decent metal left. You can see by that, possibly by the state of the rust on it, is the head's just sheared clean off. So I'm going to replace those bolts. I'm going to actually take the stumps out of the cooler, and that's just in case I need to use it. I don't want to put it to one side or chuck it away. As I've already said, they have value. If you see them online, they're going for loads of money, so I don't want to have to buy another one because I've tossed that one out. I am going to try and get those threads out and set it to one side ready to reuse if I have to, but I am keen to use the Mocal one and make the brackets for it. It's just whether or not I can get the adapter hoses. I'm pretty sure I can. It's a universal item, and this is a bike that everybody tunes, so let's get the stumps out of the old one and see if we can make it at least serviceable if I need it. Hopefully not. Take the O-ring out of the way. Now what I want to do is file 2 flats on this stump so that I can then get the grips, grab hold of it and hopefully turn it with a flat on each side. So before I start filing on here and making marks in this surface with the file, just take a washer, pop it over the surface like that if you've got enough sticking out. Then when I'm filing it like that, I'm bearing on the washer and not on the casting face, which will make it leak in the future. Right, okay, that ain't coming out of there, is it? Now the strength of the actual screw, the strength of that metal pin is less than the grip that's around it. It's laws of physics, you're never going to wind that out. That's going to have to be drilled out, which is another method entirely, but I still got a different method for the other one, which has a stump. Now that one had a 1/4 of a turn on it, it was moving. So let's try a different method, something else to show you, see if that works on the other one, and then finally I might come back to this one and actually see if I can drill it out. Right, there we are. 3 sterling attempts to get those out. Each time the head was nicely welded on and just lifts straight off. I think the screw that's in there is so feeble and tiny and corroded that it just doesn't matter how many times you join something to it, it's just going to snap clean off again, whatever the penetration might be. Also, the other side of it is that heating it up that much is probably making it even softer. So both of them are a drill out only. So that means filing them off, getting a centre punch in there and seeing if I can get a little drill bit down the middle. Right, it's too tall to stand up in the drill press. I've got to do this bit by hand. Okay, 3 hours faffing about with that thing, there it is. And it's now serviceable again. I can put bolts in that, put the unions back on and reuse it if I need to. Now the reason I wanted to do that was twofold. First of all, just in case this Mocal one doesn't work out, I've got my original, I can put it back on, and also spin it round. The back of it, it's actually really nice. So this is more than savable. By no means is this scrap at all. And I've seen them on sale on the internet at silly money, 3 figures, over £100 for these second hand, even in that condition. So I'm going to clean that up in the future, off camera later on. Today I just wanted to deal with the 2 broken off threads. Just to go into that very quickly, I wanted to show you the 3 methods you can use. There's a dozen different methods. There's tools, there's easy outs, there's stud extractors, there's all manner of different things. But those 3 things usually work for me. I'm pretty good at getting bolts out. I generally don't tend to snap things off, but when it's M6, tiny little 6mm threads, you've probably got 3mm of solid wire down the core of that doing the strength bit, and against the amount of resistance of that corrosion that's welded it in there, that was never going to stay put. It was always going to snap off. But when they snap off, there's your three methods. You can file flats, you can use then grips on those flats and turn it, but you saw that even that then snapped off again. Then you can put the washer, the nut, and you can weld a fake head or another head on the top. You saw they just lifted straight off because there's not enough metal in there to grip the new head I've welded on. In the end, you have to resort to the big daddy, which is to just flush them off, center punch them, drill them down through, and put a new thread in there. Now, if it's a bigger thread, you can use a helicoil. There's all those things I've covered in the past, but I just wanted to cover those for you today to show just how long it takes sometimes to take care of just 2 broken bolts. 3¼ hours. There it is. Anyway, that's now serviceable again. I'm happy with that. I will clean it up and reuse it in the future if I need to, or maybe I'll sell it to add some money to the budget so I can buy other things I need in the future. All of it is usable stuff. So there we go. Oh, and please don't ask now. No, I'm not prepared to sell it at the moment. I need to keep it just in case I can't get this Moco one adapted and working. But there we are. I set out to make a bracket for that thing today. So let's get stuck into that at last. Right, there we are. Both rads initially mounted. This is literally a temporary mount. Obviously you can see they're both hanging straight down, that's no good. The radiator itself has to go in about 2 inches at the bottom to pick up the factory mount from the engine, and the oil cooler has to twist out about 2 inches at the bottom so it picks up also the engine mount lower down, and then the whole lot's mounted in a curved fashion which they're designed to be. But at the moment that's just a dry mount, that's just the bracket on there. It's beefy, it's flexible, I can bend and twist it around. What I'm probably going to have to do with it is cut just on the sides here, a little pie slice out of it, bring that together, and that will bring this front face up a little bit so it will curve the bottom of the oil cooler up. All that's on the next one. It'll be loads of fun to do, and then I've got to make a little bracket for the underneath so it picks up the bottom mount as well, something to actually bolt to because there's physically nothing there at the moment. But that was great. These 4 mounts between the 2 rads, they were miles out of each other. Now they absolutely match up with a custom made bracket. Fabrication, my absolute favourite. So there we are, that's it. Hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. Got to go to work now, so better get a wiggle on. Take it easy, ride safe. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.